I'm Jamie J. Carr,
And I'm Richie F.
and this is the One Leg
One Eye
Podcast. Here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5, I think. Isn't it 5 now, Richie?
5, yeah. It
5
is indeed.
of the One Leg, One Eye Podcast. I am severely, and when I say severely, I mean severally, like properly hungover right now. I was hosting a singles night last night in McGowan's. Pop along to the next one. I'm not sure if I'm going to get asked back because I spent the money they paid me in the pub last night.
Markiplier.
Yes, but do check out McGowan's singles night. It was a good bit of crack. So Richie is going to steer the ship today. Hopefully, you're gonna struggle to shut me up because I think I'm a little bit drunk still from last night.
So this week on the One Leg, One Eye podcast, we have the awesome Tiny Tina.
Yes, who came all the way from Tyrone. And not the chap from Coronation Street, thank you. The actual county in Ireland. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Bit like yourself, a little hungover, but not just as bad as you.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's ever been as bad as me right now.
Yeah.
We'll get the mic like really close to you because it doesn't pick you up unless it's like touching off your lips almost. So how was the journey down here?
It was lovely actually. Beautiful day out there, so nice wee drive. Got the sister, she drove, so that was handy.
So you just chilled?
Yeah.
Were you on your phone or
Yeah.
what do you do? Remember when there was no phones and you just like look out the window for like 5 hours?
Played the card games. Like,
Yeah.
Went to the shop and bought a loaf. Right, your turn.
We had newspapers back then.
Oh yeah, like magazines or something.
Yeah.
2-year-olds reading newspapers.
Gossip. reading like sex stories and stuff when you were like 10.
Who's Margaret? And what was she doing with Peter?
I get the aunt.
My husband doesn't get erect anymore and I've tried everything. I've bought some lingerie and stuff and it's still not working. What do you think I should do, Deirdre? And Deirdre's like, just fucking ride him. Sorry, yeah.
No, I can't read in the car. Actually, I get car sick when I'm not driving. So.
Do you?
Yeah. I can't even look at my phone. So it's just look out the window at the scenery. Like,
There's a sheep, lovely mountain there. That's a lovely bit of grass.
Yeah,
See, a lot of people do get motion sickness from looking at tablets or phones and stuff like that when they are in transport and they can't. So yeah, it's a bit iffy
I'm
looking
alright if
down.
I'm driving, like, but obviously you shouldn't do it then. But if I'm a passenger, it's just don't even. I can't even get anything out of my handbag if I'm a passenger.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
Oh,
like.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You look down once and you're like,
I'm usually grand.
Will you tie me lace? Because if I actually look down, I'm gone.
I'm usually grand in vehicles or anything like that, but every so often I'd feel a bit queasy, and that's from like looking at a screen. I just put the phone in the pocket and look out the window, back to A1, back to the roots. So Tiny Tina,
Yeah.
can for those of you who maybe haven't heard of you, or those of you who have and don't know a few things about you, can you let us know just a little brief intro about yourself and what you do?
Well, not much to be fair.
Actually, don't know why I'm here. I just
just
popped
here,
in to get some sugar and you put me on
We're
the
gonna, we're gonna
I
get
just
some.
wanted a cup of tea.
We're gonna get some comments below this now. Do you know that new thing on TikTok where they just go Joel Merchant?
the most interesting guest ever. I actually just chill like.
Oh, well, I work mainly. I'm a nurse, and that's where I spend most of my time seeing patients. But yeah, outside of work, I like to game. Doing bucket list items at the moment, so we're currently learning how to ride our motorbike. So
Very nice. Very nice.
What's it like being a nurse? That's like a job I don't think I could ever do because I can barely look after myself.
I would prefer to be, like, I always wanted to be a vet, really, actually, but but I'm too empathetic with, like, I can't even see a dead animal on the road without it annoying me, so I couldn't do that. I kind of actually fell into the career. I was actually going to be an accountant. boring. And then from whenever obviously we're here to talk about my previous cancer experience, but it was really after that then that got me into the curing actually.
Oh,
That's
really?
Yeah, it was about 6 months, and I got into the medical field. Started off just as a receptionist in GP practice. I've been there 14 years now. I've just worked my way up now into the nursing.
So seems as you brought up the big C word, and it's kind of like, it's always a weird thing to kind of ask about and segue into, but tell us about that, and like from the start, like, because I always wonder, I think like for me the hardest part of being diagnosed with cancer, if I was, would be the start when you kind of figure it out and then you go to the doctor. How did you find out you had it, and tell us about how you felt?
Well, so cancer's sort of been in the family, and actually it wasn't it's maybe a few years before I would have got diagnosed. So my dad had a very rare cancer and he died at 42, and also my cousin died at 18 from a brain tumour as well.
Jesus.
So at that stage I suppose we were always aware of cancer, and we kind of seen firsthand the things obviously it could do, and both, as I say, the family members both lost the battle to it, unfortunately. So at my time, I'd actually been running quite a lot to the doctor, and in hindsight at that time, I suppose, yes, I was young, so they probably weren't initially thinking.
How old were you?
I was 19 when I was diagnosed, but I was probably running from I was about 16. That's, I think, when my symptoms would have first started, was about 16. So I'd had it for a good long time before I actually got diagnosed, and at that stage it was quite advanced, so we didn't really have much time, only just straight in for treatment. But yeah, there was a lot around that. Like my mum would have been bringing me loads to the doctor, and it was like, I can actually remember at one time them telling me I was waking up with night sweats and properly drenched. You had to change the bed sheets, change your pajamas, and the doctor was saying, "Oh, you must be waking up with nightmares." And I can remember at the time I was like, "No, I think I would know if I was waking up having a nightmare. You usually do." So there was a lot, and Mum was very annoyed, and I think because of the same similarities that happened with my dad and my cousin, that they were running to the doctor a lot. But as I say, it's completely different now. Like back even whenever I was diagnosed, it was maybe only 1 in 10 people was maybe getting cancer. When my dad had it, was maybe 1 in 20. Like today, it's 1 in 2.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely a lot rifer now, and a lot more known, I suppose.
Do you remember the day when you were told?
Yeah. So I was actually I had went to America for a couple of months, and that's where I was doing my sort of training, and I was going to be coming home to start in an accountant's, and it was while I was in America. It was just days you'd get up. It was more like a general feeling sick, there was nothing really I could pinpoint as to what was wrong. The days maybe be throwing up and just feeling weak, and I don't even think I really noticed at that stage, but there was quite a bit of weight loss as well. And while I was in America, I can remember just not feeling well, and they'd actually taken me to the hospital and had bloods and that done, but they had said, "Oh, you must just have a viral illness," and sent me home again, and that was fine. But after that, it was maybe about a week, I had discovered then I had found lumps. I was feeling lumps in my neck and on my chest and my collarbone. Jesus. And I went back to the supervisor, that we were like a big group of us that had went over to America, and again, even then it was like kind of, "Oh, well, what do you want to do? Do you want me to bring you back to the hospital?" It was kind of like as if you weren't believed, And in fact, even then they were saying, "Oh, we were out working, there was lots of, maybe it's a spider bite." And I was like, it's not a spider bite, like I'm not in a lump from a spider bite. But we were about 2 weeks before coming home, so at that stage I was just like, "No, forget it, I'll just wait till I go home." And we come home on a Friday, and even then Mummy, I'd been phoning her, and she just wasn't happy. Like, I think she nearly probably knew in herself. She was just like, "I'm not happy, I want to take you to the hospital." But we come home, I says, "No, Mummy, I just want to spend the weekend in my own bed. I'll go on Monday." But I'd got up on the Saturday or something, felt really, and I says, "No, Mummy, will you just take me to the hospital then?" And even then sort of went in. They didn't actually tell me, but you kind of knew them, because they sort of brought me in. They were feeling, and they'd maybe brought 3 or 4 different doctors around, and they were examining me. Went for an X-ray, and then they brought me into a wee side room on my own, and I was kind of like, "Yeah, this isn't good when they're doing that." Again, now they just didn't tell me. They sort of said, "Oh,
how were you feeling when this happens? Because like,
Yeah.
were you terrified?
I
Or,
was, I was pretty nervous. I think more so because of what I'd seen. You know, in my head, it was cancer means death. You know, and that was the way I was looking at it at that time. It's like, oh, shit. But yeah, it still was kind of like, oh, maybe it's not. But they sort of come in and says, right, we're going to have to keep you, and we'll admit you have to do a lot more tests. Then it was like more scans and then biopsies then that were being organised. But they were sort of playing it because they didn't actually know the type. They sort of says, look, we're thinking it might be this, but until we do this, we don't actually know. So it was about 2 weeks, I think, I was in hospital. We got the biopsy and that done, and then they were fit to come and say, yeah, this is what you have.
Do you think that when you think back before then, when you were feeling ill and getting up, had you got a gut feeling that it could have been that? Like, was it
I had
always
a
a
gut
back
feeling
thought?
that something wasn't right, but because I'd been running to the doctor and it was kind of like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
You know, your bloods are fine. There's nothing wrong with you. I mean, there was a point, I suppose, nearly where you do nearly feel a bit crazy. You're like, you know, is this in my
is
head?
that?
You
Yeah.
know,
Like,
you know, it's like I know I'm not feeling well, but you know, people are telling me, oh, you're all right.
It's so weird. I've been in that situation. Obviously not as bad as as have you. And sometimes you feel like you're trying to convince the doctor that no, I'm fucking sick, doctor.
yeah,
Like,
it was quite a lot of that.
And I'm sure people listening as well. Let us know in the comments. Have you ever had? Because it's an interesting one that like not many people talk about with doctors and GPs and where you almost have to like they just want to say and just like move on, and you're like, no, I'm, you know, it's not a chest infection. My fucking toes are falling off, pal. So that must have been difficult that you're trying to fucking convince people that you're sick as well.
Yeah, so I mean, that had probably a big impact, you know. But I suppose then there was kind of a relief at the same time because there was an answer, you know, then as to what was going on, and it kind of answered a lot of questions from the previous few years. As I said, there was quite a bit of sickness. Like, I mean, because my mum had been running, like they were even having conversations after when the doctor was saying there's nothing wrong, you know, thinking maybe I had some sort of eating disorder as well, you know, because of the sickness and that, you know. So and it was like, no, I don't have an eating disorder, you know, I'm just not well. I don't know why. But, you know, so it did take a wee bit. And then, I mean, to be honest, from getting diagnosed.
So what was your
Hodgkin's
diagnosis?
lymphoma then was the diagnosis, which fairly treatable, so that was all very good. Obviously, they don't know how you're going to react to the treatment. Everybody's different. Thankfully, in my case, I just needed the chemotherapy, and that has taken care of it. And
Tell us what that diagnosis is for somebody, because that just sounds to me. Do you know what I mean? It's like Hodgkin.
So
what is it?
It's a blood cancer basically, but it travels through the blood, but it can also get into the lymphatic system mainly, really. So that's where the lymphoma comes from. So your lymphatic system is like what drains. To be honest, I don't really know enough about it myself. I think they're still really learning actually what the lymphatic system actually does.
Oh, really?
But I think it filters blood, and it's filtering things out of the blood as well. But it's because it runs throughout the body. It's quite easy then for you get a wee lymph node maybe up in your neck. It's easy for that then to spread to other lymph nodes in the body and throughout the body. I think it's mainly for like infections and things. So like if you had a viral infection, you know, you would maybe get your tonsils and the glands in your neck would swell, and that's usually your lymphatic system fighting off the infection, and usually they go down and that's fine, but in my case they didn't go down, you know. So
did they have to be removed, or what way does it work with
no, they just done the biopsy. There was one in my neck, but I think it was in an area that they didn't really want to risk, so they went into my chest and took the biopsy from there, and then it was just treatment, so it wasn't really a surgical thing. I don't even think that was an option at all.
And what does the lump? Sorry, Rich. What does the lump feel like?
Just quite hard, actually. You know, I would still have some wee small ones actually that are still sort of swollen just from it. But yeah, just quite hard. Like not painful at all. I could just feel out shape, even especially across the ones on my collarbone. You know, you could see them sticking out. And to be honest, I only really noticed them kind of far in, as I say, and had quite a lot of them. So they were definitely there for a long time before I think I even realised that they were there. But yeah, it was as simple as that. Just wee lumps that just didn't go down. Yeah.
So the chemotherapy,
Yeah.
that usually shrinks the stuff.
Yeah, so basically it's killing your immune system, killing all the healthy cells, all the bad cells, basically. That's what it's
Is that what it does?
Yeah, and that's why you lose your hair.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
You're very prone then, obviously, to infections when you're getting chemo, because it just shuts off your immune system, that you've nothing there to fight any infections. And
did you have to go through many treatments of chemotherapy?
I had 12 sessions in total, every 2 weeks. And then it would really depend on your blood, so like you had to be well enough to get the chemo as well.
Yeah.
What is that like, chemotherapy? Like what happens? Like, great detail here, because I'm just I for years I was almost, I think I still am kind of scared to even delve into the topic a little bit, because it's like, I think especially as Irish people, we're like, look, unless I'm going through with it, or unless I'm going through it, I don't want to know what's involved. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of my
sort of ignorance
mindset. So what exactly is chemotherapy, and what was it like?
For me, they make it up depending on the type of cancer. There's certain drugs, certain different chemo drugs, and they usually make up a blend. For me, it was what they called ABVD. So that was 4 different types of drugs that I would have got to try and target this particular cancer. So I would have had to have went in the morning and had my bloods done, and then you usually hung around for maybe an hour or 2 hours till the bloods came back, and as long as they were okay, then they brought you down to a different wee room where everybody then, everybody was sitting around in their kind of chairs, comfortable chairs. I wouldn't have the best of veins. So at the start,
my veins are shit.
They were shit. So like they would have been doing bloods quite a lot at the start, and found it quite difficult. So I ended up actually having to get a PICC line put in, which is basically like a cannula, but it was put in straight in. I think it went straight into the artery. So rather than
it's an ease of access to the veins.
Yeah.
So they don't have to keep prodding the skin over and over again.
Oh,
so
nice.
Basically keep a wee cannula in the
Why
arm.
don't they just do that anyway?
Makes it easier. But I suppose it's more high risk of infection then as well, because it's an open. Yeah. So they would have had to get that changed and cleaned every time before the treatment as well, and after. So yeah, they would have brought you in, and then they had the bag, and it was just like, kind of like, like the raspberry drinks that used to, that kind of colour, like red. Just kind of looked like red juice nearly. And that would usually take several hours, and they'd hook you up then to your cannula, and you just have to sit for hours while it, like a drip nearly, just for going through. And that was every 2 weeks, and then obviously if the bloods weren't great, then you had to put it off for a week and go back, and hopefully the bloods would be a bit better then. So there was a couple of times where I wasn't able to get it. But yeah, pretty much went mainly smoothly. PICC line, as I said, was great because you didn't have to keep going in and be jagged. Like, it used to take them at least 7 times before they'd even get blood out of me. So it was great that way, but in terms of living with it and having to shower, and you'd be careful, a big, like, I can't even remember what it was called, it's like a sleeve, for wrapping around to keep it dry and that. So actually that was, it was great getting that out at the end of it all. Like, I couldn't wait and just have the arm back properly.
And what were, like, the symptoms like, and when this is happening to you, like, what way are you kind of in a state of shock where you're like, this shouldn't be happening to me, what the fuck? Or how do you cope with that when you're sitting there and you're like, because it's so unfair.
Yeah,
nobody should have to ever go through it. It's just,
I mean, it was tough, and I think because, as I say, initially it was like, oh shit, cancer means death, but straight away in my head, like, I was always brought up as a positive person, and this wasn't really the first traumatic event that ever happened to me, in that sense. So I could write books, really, with the things that's happened. But I was always, like, my mum always had me to be very positive family, when you can't change something, don't be annoyed about it, and if you can change it, then it's up to you to change it. But it was always good, like, I was always very positive. So whenever I got the diagnosis, I was always of that attitude, I'm going to beat this, and it was just right. I like I believed in that positivity. So whenever I would have been going for my chemo, as the drip was hooked up, like them 2 hours, I literally would have just been, I suppose, nearly like in a meditative state.
Wow.
And I was visualizing the chemo going into my body and visualizing it attacking the cancer. You know,
Wow.
so for me that was kind of my right. You know, this is going to help us. Even though afterwards, you know, it was. In terms of chemo symptoms, they were probably worse than the cancer symptoms.
Yeah, people say that.
Yeah, chemo, it was quite tough, as I say. Like, you were kind of getting the chemo and nearly instantly, like you were feeling pretty sick and nauseous. Jesus. Again, everybody's different. You know, it doesn't affect everybody the same. But for me, like, I'd have been getting my chemo and maybe like craving stuff, so I'd have been like eating food, bringing McDonald's in and having McDonald's, and then afterwards it was kind of going, God, why did I do that? Hardly making it home, you know. But yeah, the chemo was tough, and then of course obviously there's the symptoms of the hair loss and just feeling poorly. Like, you used to, it was every 2 weeks, so for me I'd have really felt rotten for a good week, and then you'd start to kind of come round a wee bit and start to feel a bit better.
What do you mean by feeling rotten for a week? Like,
just in terms of the chemo symptoms, you know,
in what way? Like, what
side effects? So nausea, vomiting, just general weakness, and
Jesus.
not really fit to do much. And then you'd sort of have a couple of days where you actually had energy and you felt kind of good, but then you were going straight back in for your chemo again. And it actually got to the point for even a long time, I would say for a good at least 5 years after, every time I'd go into the hospital, it was like the hospital smell. Yeah. And it was like my brain used to, I think because my brain automatically associated going to hospital, getting the chemo, feeling sick, so I'd nearly be going in and that smell of the hospital instantly, I was feeling sick, you know, the symptoms really coming on, and that lasted for a good long time actually after. So like, you always kind of dreaded that going in, and as I say, then I used to have to get, sometimes when the immune system wasn't great, I can't actually remember what it was, but they used to give me an injection. Basically, they were saying your bone marrow makes, must have been white cells or something, and they wanted me to get the white cells boosted up to allow me to get the chemo. So there was a couple of times where I had to get this injection into the buttocks, and whatever it done, it was like making my bone marrow produce these white cells. What you produce maybe in a month, it was making you produce in a day. They were very painful. You'd feel it like in your big bones, your thighs, your hips, and you used to just be sitting aching for days then, obviously, while that was working and doing its thing.
Man.
So yeah, I mean that end of it was quite tough. And then of course going to every appointment, and then halfway through you would get a scan to see if it was actually working. So the scan halfway through, and then one at the end of that cycle then to see if you needed any more then at the very end. And thankfully I didn't. It seemed to control mine quite well. You know, 6 months was all I needed, thank goodness. And as I say, that's 14 years ago now there in February. So
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's pretty tough.
And Richie, do you want to?
Yeah. So after going through it all, usually cancer patients, like you see these stories where they ring the bell. Did you have any positive things like that afterwards, or?
Yeah, not in my hospital. There was no bell actually.
Get the bell, Jesus Christ!
No,
you deserve the bell.
But it was always a mark of that appointment where I went in and seen the consultant. I was told, yeah, your cancer, you're in remission. In fact, the way they put it to me was, you're never going to be cancer free. But the longer it is, obviously, the less likely that it is to come back. But then the other thing that people don't realise, even the treatment for cancer can very much increase your risk of having cancers as well. So in fact, my treatment has given me like I think it was like 50% increased risk of breast or lung cancer. You know, so I think once you have it, like, there's always, say, I try and remain positive and very positive person, but there's always at the back of your mind, you know, what if?
That when you're at night time, when you're lying in bed and you have those thoughts that the intrusive thoughts that won't leave you alone, you're like, I might be fucked. Those thoughts. Yeah. Like, we all have them.
A bit of sickness comes again, and you're like, oh shit. And I can remember a few times going back, really believing that my cancer had come back again. you know, and I think it's that, that dread, but
it's like the same with like obviously to a lesser extent, but nowadays I think that type of fear is more prevalent than ever before. We have a cough or a snotty nose one day and we're like, COVID, I'm dead.
yeah,
Like that's that's I feel like you've been experiencing that for nearly your whole life at this stage, whereas the world is catching up with that stuff now, especially over the last 2 years. So I mean envy of you for being able to
have the strength,
and go through that. And I think the scariest part for me is those thoughts that you must have to battle every day since the fucking cancer, if that wasn't bad enough, but then the thoughts of like, actually I think I have it again, or which is what you're gonna have to deal with for the rest of your life. And that's why I was like, I need to chat to you, because I'm so intrigued as to how strong people can be in terms of that. And you probably compartmentalize it where you're like, no, I'm not strong, but you are to be able to do that. Tell us about your bucket list that you have.
So I suppose this is should have been done a long time ago. Like, I talked about doing a lot of stuff after my treatment, and really actually it was really only after my treatment and it was all over. It was kind of that kind of period. It was kind of like, oh shit, what do we do now? And it was kind of like, goodness, it actually only hit me after. It was kind of like, oh, we've just come through all that. Like, we've just come through something that's really big and serious. Whereas I think while I was going through it, I was kind of keep that positive mindset so much. It was just like, yeah, we're gonna beat this. And then after it was like, oh, holy shit, like I just had cancer, and it's kind of like, right, what do you do now? And that's to say, it was about 6 months after I finished my treatment then that I went and got the job in the healthcare system. And
why? What made you?
Was I say, well, it pretty much has been a part of my life growing up. My dad had a very rare cancer and had it for a very long time before it took him. And say he was 42 when he died. But
Jesus.
There was always sickness in the house. It was he was very ill. He wasn't even able to eat for the last 11 months of his life. So there was a lot of home care for him, especially in that last year.
How old were you?
Well, I was a teenager when I was about 14, 15 when he died. Yeah.
That's tough.
So, and I say we probably had it for about 10 years prior to that, like,
Jeez,
So it was something like I always known him to have, it was always in the house and that sickness. And I suppose watching that, for me, it was kind of like, oh, it was tough. And even going in, whenever you'd be going into the room to get the chemo, and it was just all these old people, I was probably one of the youngest ones. But to me, I was kind of like, oh God, this is terrible that they have to go through this. I was thinking I'm young, healthy-ish, that I feel like I can beat this. Where I was kind of like, I wish I could take theirs away from them.
They could be probably thinking the same for
exact
you.
same,
Like, we've lived their lives. You shouldn't be going through it as well. So nobody should go through it.
Exactly. Unfortunately, it's one of those things. But yeah, actually, I've lost my track of where I was going there with that. But yeah, that's I just got into healthcare then. I think I was just applying for jobs. It was just like, right, I need to get a job. And to be quite honest, I don't even remember applying for the job that I'm in.
Was it so it wasn't like a noble thing of like,
not
people
initially.
have helped me, I wanted, because you hear people that go through stuff and they're like, those people are so
like
nice.
that at all.
No.
I need a job. When I was in the healthcare
I just want
setting,
money. I just want money.
and I suppose it was presented to me then about doing phlebotomy and about taking bloods, and I was kind of like, yeah, actually that really interests me. And when I come on to do the nursing, of course, that was used for like, why I did want to do it. I've seen firsthand what the care and that can do to people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I'd say you have not a lot more. Like, people are most nurses are sound, but you probably have a little bit more empathy than other people, because you've been there. You've been at the points where you don't know if you're gonna fucking live. So you have a skill set that a skill set of experience that you can't train for.
Yeah,
Or, you know,
I think
like
that's what I sort of have to tell myself now as well. You know, are we good?
yeah, no, you
Oh,
go
yeah.
ahead.
So like the being through it, you know, when you've had that worry, as I say, it was always in the back of your mind. But I suppose it's telling yourself now, like, look, you know, we're more aware of it, and because we sort of have that little niggling, I think as soon as anything does happen to me or become sick, I'm kind of like, right, go to the doctor, rule it out. There's no point stressing, you know, just rule it out, and if it is, it is. You just have to go with the flow. Like,
But it's safer for you to be like that, because
Yeah.
the earlier you catch these things, the better.
Exactly.
So
you know, and that's crucial, really.
It's healthy for you to be that way and to
Yeah.
be that almost paranoid about it.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to hold it against you for going to the doctors.
You don't want it taken over. You want to be able to live your life, and it's kind of like you don't
Exactly.
want to have that worry there all the time. So, the bucket list is part of that, and I think it's really only took me to now to kind of finally realise, you're the only one that can go and experience these things. I think for me, a lot of it was holding off. You know, I'll meet somebody I'd like to do these things with people, and as I've got older and all my friends are all married and having children, and nobody has time to do anything anymore. It's kind of like, I'm just gonna have to do these things on my own. And
So you said that the job, like you kind of, the big C gave you a kick in the right direction in regards to a job. So, is there anything else that kind of, other than your bucket list, that you want to do? Is there anything else that like kind of said, right, shit, I better get this done before I'm, say, like in me mid-30s or wherever, like I want to get this done, like?
Not really, actually, no. It's just kind of like live every day and I'll be in the moment, and I've always had, you know, that thinking in life too. You know, I'm very much I wouldn't say a hippie, but you know, it's I'm very much of to tell people you love them, and love's a big thing in life, you know. Peace
You never
and
tell
love,
me you
and
love me. What the hell?
love you, Jamie.
Jesus Christ. I must be a prick.
You know, yeah. Well, we all know that. We'll say nothing.
Every so often, Tina texts me and just says, "Just remember, you're a wanker today."
But like, I'm the same though in regards to telling people that I love them.
Yeah.
Like, people look at me weird when I say it to me brothers or sisters, or if I'd say it to me mum. Like, I used to always get looks from me friends if I say it to me mum. But what's constantly in my mind is, I lost a lot of family when I was younger, like granddads, grannies, and uncles and stuff. But when it comes to my thought process behind it, it's right. Tomorrow might be totally different. You might look at this totally different. So now is the time to say it, and it might feel a little bit weird doing it right there and then. But as soon as you say it, it's done. Like, so if you haven't even said it to like a sister or who you talk to maybe every day, just say it at the end of the conversation. Like, it doesn't have to be face to face, because that's
of loving yourself. I think
Yeah.
is probably where you want to start. But
and it's healthy. Like, to say it and to feel it, you know, like, because a lot of people don't. They be like, oh no, it feels a bit weird.
Yeah, don't ever change that about you, because that's you. And he is really like that. And like, sometimes he'll just call me to say, how are you, and how are you getting on? And he'll say, and this is even at the start of our friendship, he'd say, I love you, man. I hope you're and just remember, I'm here for you, and I care about you. And that was so refreshing, and that's why I think me and Richie bonded so well, because I'm the opposite to that. I'm like, yeah. He says that, and I'm like, yeah,
thanks.
Fuck you, you dope, and I hang up. But it's so nice, and it's such a good, and it's one of the, like, I love Richie to death. We're gonna be friends for life, whether he likes it or not. But I think because you're like that, and I wish I could, like, I gain a bit, like, I want to be like that.
Yeah, I suppose.
You know,
yeah.
And it's such.
Well,
It's such an important thing, yeah. Like,
love is a choice too, you know. I mean, it's you can decide to love somebody or not love them, you know, and that. But to me, I just think love in general, just love thy neighbour, you know, is just a big part of it. And I think for me, again, when I was diagnosed, and even at 19, you know, I had that, and I was kind of like, I wish I'd have done this then, and I wish I'd have done that, and I wish I would have said this. And I suppose friends that I'd lost out of contact as well, you know, I was kind of like, you know, I wish I'd, you know, I'm in the mindset, I'd love to, like you say, you know, just tell that person what, like, even though I haven't spoken to them in 20 years, you know, that that had an impact on my life, and it's something that I'll always remember. And I, think it's important to be like
Does
that.
the wall though? I call it the wall.
Yeah.
With a lot of things in life, with going to the gym, with doing a certain diet, with telling people that you love them, or just talking to someone, it takes 2 minutes, and it's just that fear of like, oh no, I haven't talked to them in a while. Get those stupid fucking thoughts out of your head and just text them.
Yeah.
Just say, haven't talked to you in a while, want to catch
Thinking
up.
about
Give
you.
us a text when you can, and it's done.
Yeah.
I've said it, like, I went to Sweden before, and I met these two lovely guys, and they showed us around, they bought us points, and they were like, this is where this studio is, this is where that studio is. It's got to do with game development. And we had such a good experience, and they were like, right, well, let's add each other. And I'm like, it's gonna get to that point where you text each other like every year or two on Facebook, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, that's okay, that's cool. Like, you know, like, so it's okay to just text someone out of the blue and just say, haven't talked to you in a while, how are things? Because you might be helping them in a way, and they'll see that, and it'll brighten their day, or something,
Just
you
even
know.
the whole, just smiling at somebody,
Yeah,
saying
like
hello
the hello walking down the road to a stranger that you
Yeah.
might brighten the day. Like, our own thoughts stop us from doing so many fucking things, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, where you're, like, say 10 years down the line and you haven't seen a friend in a while, and this has actually happened to me in school. I hung around with a guy, and I won't mention him, like, but
Pat Kenny was his name.
yeah, we'll say Pat Kenny, but he had problems. Now, I'm not going to talk
just
about
getting
what
that in
problems
there.
because then people will identify him.
Yeah,
But
don't.
he had some certain issues, and he had told me about it. And
He was a chronic masturbator, just everywhere he went.
so after, like, this is going to get real dark real soon now.
God.
But
Here we go.
We're diving into it today, isn't it, everybody?
this is one of those things though.
Yeah.
I hung around with him like a lot after school and stuff like that, and then I left school to go and do plumbing, and I hadn't talked to him for a while, and then I bumped into another friend a couple of years later, and he's like, so how come you weren't at James's? Oh, I'm not to say his name, but it's grand. Like, his sister.
All right,
went.
James is a common name.
Yeah,
There's a million
so,
Jameses.
Yeah, how come you weren't at his funeral?
Oh
So
my
he had went
God.
for an operation, and unfortunately didn't make it through.
Oh dear.
It's the same of a similar story, and it's one of the it's a really difficult thing to deal with when something like that happens, because you do have those thoughts of like,
It's
oh,
just
why
the
didn't I
regret,
get
isn't
in
it?
touch with this person, or how come I haven't contacted them. This is sorry, this is gonna probably set me off a little bit, but before I went to college, so I kind of got expelled slash left school when I was like 16, and then when I was 19, 20, I had to do a FOSS course to get the equivalent to the Leaving Cert, and I did a 2-year course, and it was like such a weird bunch of people. It was like it was like some people were suffering from mental health issues. Some people just didn't get the Leaving Cert. Some people had physical injuries that stopped them from. So it was this mad bunch of people. And I can remember walking in, 20, going, all these losers, fucking hell, I'm cool, like, what am I doing here? But I was the same as them. Do you know what I mean? There was I wasn't better, but when you're young, and there was a chap there called Kevin, and he was the funniest man I've ever met in my life. What's the county where they say Mars Bar, or where they say do you know that county?
Mars Bar.
Someone in the chat's like, I know that Dundalk, is it, or somewhere? But anyway, he's the funniest chap ever. And
Donegal, probably.
no, not Donegal. It's in yeah. Anyway, but this fella Kevin was just so funny and always in a good mood. And he used to say to me, Jamie, what do you want to do? Like, because he was older, like, so he's in his late 40s. Like, there was people of all ages in the thing, and he used to say, Jamie, what do you want to do? And he was like, you're very funny. You always make the class laugh. Would you not do comedy? And I said, yeah, I would, but I'm a bit nervous. And he signed me up for a comedy thing without telling me. And the next day he said, yeah, you're doing a gig on Friday. And I said, Kevin, I can't do, I don't have anything written. And I swear this is so true. And like, just sometimes you meet people in your life like that. But he booked it and he said, you're going, Jamie, you're really fucking funny. And I'm telling you you're going and I'm coming with you.
Yeah.
And he came and he brought the whole fucking class. He made it an event. Right? And he brought me and we went and I actually kind of killed it. Now, I don't know if because, you know, like there was 100 people and 30 of them were in the class, but whatever. I had a really good night and he said, see, I told you. Now you need to believe in yourself and stuff, and just like almost like a fucking angel this chap was. Like weird, like I don't know why he was helping me so much. Like and then it's something I still battle with today. Where he messaged me at like we'll say a Thursday at 9 p.m. and I'm really badass, Richie, with messages. Sometimes I don't even open it. I just don't have the mental. I'm just like I'll deal with it tomorrow. Even though I love the person, it's nothing against it. It's everyone asks me sisters as well. I just like I'll reply tomorrow. He messaged me at like 9 p.m. just saying nothing weird, just saying, how are you, Jamie? What's the crack? Can I give you a call? No, he just must wanted to just have a chat. Yeah. And I didn't reply. And what kills me about it is that I seen it. And I still haven't learned the lesson, as Richie, but I seen it and I didn't open it. And then I went into the college the next morning. And we had a meeting like first thing when we went in, and he killed himself that night. And it's like I still battle with it because I feel like I might have been, if I had a fucking rang him and had a chat, might have stopped it, you know, from happening. But yeah, I don't know how we got onto this, but it
the thing, hindsight's a wonderful thing and all
it's
that.
A fucking...
How we got onto it is just messaging people. But I know you, Jamie, and I know it's not a personal thing that you do.
No, it's not at all.
It's just you don't want to deal with certain things, and that's a defense thing. It's trying to. You didn't know. Like if you had a saying, really need to talk to you. I know for
sure. I would have, yeah. If I had seen that, I would have.
Yeah. But that you can't take blame for that because you didn't see any signals. No. You thought it was just a message from someone that you probably hadn't heard from in a week or two, like with it, like messaging.
I don't take. I know what you're saying. Like, I don't take blame for it. Like, because I know that that's not my fault. But I just wish I had a fucking rang him because he was like and. They always say look out for the signs and stuff. This chap had he was the funniest chap ever, always in the best mood, always.
But you're not constantly interpreting messages in a way. You know, you're not like, I don't think
we're not body language experts.
Yeah,
people don't always
you're not always going to be saying, reading into this too much, you know, or like, is there something wrong here? Maybe, you know, we're not really programmed to think like that automatically.
I couldn't even go to the funeral.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I just can't. It was so emotional that I knew I would just be a mess if I went. But sorry, I can't believe I'm hungover. I'm just getting like emotional thoughts from the past. But what a legend he was, and I want to get in touch with his daughters and his kids because he just constantly talked about how much he loved them every day. Yeah. And he was a separated father and stuff like that. So sometime in the future I'm going to get in touch and just tell them that. But rest in peace, Kev. What a fucking legend. But it's like going back to those moments of like you were kind of... I feel like people who go through that stuff have a little bit more gratitude for life and realise how these moments matter a little bit more than the rest of us who haven't kind of been in that battle of like, I don't know if I'm going to be here next year, you know.
Yeah, you're true, yeah.
And I know, just to go back on what Jamie was saying there hasn't been one time that I asked Jamie, are you around for a phone call, that didn't answer me back. So I think like it's there in the back of your mind. So like that, and that hasn't. If I've texted them before saying what's the crack with this, and I haven't got a reply for a day or two.
Or 3 days,
three.
sometimes 4.
But
it's never. I'm like that with
Yeah.
everyone.
If it's a
That
phone
would be
call, you
similar.
just say like, "Is it important?" I can remember you text me, "Is it important? Can talk at the minute." Or it was something like that. But he does actually text back if it's about that.
Jamie's just a ghost, really. Everybody waiting on a message back from Jamie. Yes,
So
doesn't want to talk
as
to
well.
you.
Before we go too far off the
Yes,
subject,
yes.
Yeah.
you have a little something here.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. So this is I was inspired by your first ever prosthetic on your last podcast, and that's what made me think of this. It's like,
Oh, cool.
maybe I should bring this. So this is my wig that I'd have got, and again, I suppose you don't realise the importance of these things at the time either. You know, it wasn't like, it's kind of like, yeah, you're going to get chemo, this might happen, but I don't think you ever really prepare yourself for it actually happening. I say it was quite tough waking up in the morning.
What's that
It's
like?
just-
As a woman as well.
Yeah.
Like, because your
certain
hair
things
is
I was
everything.
kind of like, oh, this is great not having hair, you know. But it's like, definitely, eyebrows was something that's like I lost my
shit,
eyebrows
yeah.
and all as well, and do you know, it was more the waking up every morning and it kind of be like a wee clump on the pillow, you know. It was kind of seeing that and kind of that realization. It's kind of like, oh, so I mean, for me, I just then ended up doing. I was just like, right, do you know what? It's clearly gonna be falling out anyway, so let's just do a wee charity night. And I was like, I'll shave the rest of it all off and raise a wee bit of money, and that's what we done then. Just, and I think that was probably easier because it wasn't like patchy and.
But it's your choice. It was your choice to do it, and that's what empowered it. Like,
and it was kind of like, well, I can make something good out of this. You know, I can raise a bit of money, and as I say, like people do struggle. Like even for me, like this is one of the really good wigs, as you say. It's not one of the free ones that I would have been getting, and really I only got this thanks to a family friend who actually.
How much does it cost for
I think at that time, I think this was over a few £100.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think it was about 250.
And you had to pay that?
Well, I didn't, as I say, but because I wouldn't have afforded to
But, like,
have been able
people
to.
have
But
to. People.
but people, yeah.
That's shit. Give people wigs who have cancer.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck's sake.
Well, you get cheap ones free, you know, but they're not. They're definitely not the same quality.
Give people the best of the best.
Yeah, and I think
Jesus
I suppose
Christ,
for
the
me,
least they deserve.
Being a young girl as well, you know, it was kind of. But to be honest, it actually I only really wore it then whenever I'd been going out to something special, because it was, for me, it was quite uncomfortable, and I was just at the stage where it's just like, I was just happy enough putting my bandana around my head, you know, if I was just going about the house or going to appointments or things.
Can we see it?
Yeah, sorry, I was about to take it out, so.
So for anybody listening on Spotify, we're looking at it's a blonde. Is it blonde? Is it dirty blonde kind of?
I am naturally blonde.
Oh, cool.
So, for my wig, this was my natural kind of color. It's a bit lighter in the light.
Is that real hair?
Yeah. So this will be a real hair
So
wig.
realistic.
So
like it's
yeah.
Can
You mean you can
touch
try
it?
it on? Yeah.
Will I try it on?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
This has so much sentimental value, though. I don't want to be
It's been in that
disrespectful.
box now. Not at all. No. It's whenever I first got it, everybody was like, "Here, try it on."
Jesus,
The guys usually look like.
If Richie put this
like
on, you know, I
rockers,
might.
yeah.
If Richie put this on, I might, you know.
Hold on, let me take the plot out of it.
probably
Let me take that ponytail, and then you can have it nice.
Oh my God! So it's a blonde
Nice.
wig and it has a ponytail at the back, but
I
Tina's
just-
had to taken the ponytail. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Jesus, it's so cool. Let me.
You might want like flip it over and
What-
then kind of like.
Yeah.
God,
so
this is
the
strange.
length of the hair would reach probably the bottom of the shoulder blades at the back.
At least.
How do I look? Am I cute?
And we have Jamie here
Would you, Richie?
looking like Jemima.
Am I alright?
How are you, Jemima? If you were at that singles night now last night like that,
Oh
you
my
look like something out of
God.
Beatles or
Yeah,
something like
like
that
a
with the
bit of a
glasses
rocker or
on.
something.
I've only had like cheap wigs that I do for costume, but the difference in like, you know, this is legit. Like
Yeah.
it just
No,
feels
it
like.
hasn't been washed in about 14 years, so I mean it's probably stinking. It's been
No,
in a musty
no,
box.
it just
in-
kind of has
in the
that
back of
old
the
smell,
cupboard.
doesn't it? Yeah, like the
It's
kind
just
of
a bit
ward. Oh
musty,
my
yeah.
God, Richie, have a.
Well,
Jesus.
like my hair is like.
Does that have sentimental value? Like, do you look at that and kind of get a bit emotional
To
when?
be honest, and I mean, I still have it because it was always that kind of like I didn't really want to throw it out or get like, I mean, donate it back. I suppose I think I might now. because I was always of the, well, if I needed it again,
How am I
you
looking?
know. It definitely suits you better,
Yeah,
Jamie,
even
than
with the
Jamie.
patch.
Like,
You look
know,
like
the
a-
patch, the patch makes it.
You look like a
Keep the patch
prostitute on a pirate ship. And I'm down. Oh my god.
Call me Polly.
You have a very feminine face. You kind of look a little bit cute. What the
He
Well, I
fuck?
does, doesn't
Yeah.
duck
he?
face.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh
There
god.
we go. He's
Oh
done
my-
this before. Like,
If you need to transition, man, I will. Like when you do, you'll be a nice looking girl. What the fuck?
But yeah, you can feel that it's really nice quality. Like
Yeah, it says
and
it.
look, it's more for comfort for people as well, because when you go through stuff like this, you want a person feeling as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
That's
course.
why a couple of months down the road, I'm still gonna continue to grow this, but I'm gonna shave this off for charity, and
Get it at least 7
7 inches,
I
isn't it?
think is. Yeah,
so,
yeah, brilliant.
and then I'm gonna donate that
And
to.
like that's as simple as, and that obviously gets
They'll just have to
people more wigs like this that
Yeah.
can be donated and that
So-
they don't have to pay.
just
Yeah,
have
I
to-
think we should all do something together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is. I didn't even know people had to pay for that stuff when
Yeah.
that happens. Maybe we should do something for the kind of wig thing.
Yeah, that would be good.
And together in a couple of weeks' time. So we'll
we
come up
need
with a
to do a-
fundraiser and we'll do maybe a live stream or a special
Yeah.
episode of the podcast, and we'll do that. But I kind of want to support your bucket list too, because
Yeah.
you've lived such a difficult fucking life, you know, with your dad, and then you going through it, and other family members, and I feel like you deserve a little bit of niceness in your life now from
do,
going
Jamie.
through. You fucking do.
I do.
You really do.
But you know, it's
And
been great.
I don't know if you don't have a GoFundMe or anything like that, or a PayPal, but we'll put something in the description of this, and if you want to support Tina, and I'm gonna do it myself when I get paid, right? So join me
Well, that's an idea
on
then.
this, and let's give, not that you're a charity case or you need it, you
No,
don't.
No, oh, well,
Like,
we definitely need it.
Well, you probably need it,
Definitely need it.
but let's show.
Broke.
Is that gone, Richie? Is that stopped?
Um,
Oh God, how long
Technical
ago did that
issues.
stop?
This camera went off, and this was still going.
Was it still going?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you need to save it first?
No.
Okay.
It's
What minute is on at the top, just so we know
so
it's.
it's
52.
at 52.
Okay, yeah, okay. It mustn't have Mitch much. I'll catch up on it.
No,
But
it was still actually capturing. You can see it in it there.
I don't think it was. It was stopped. But
Find out later.
what I'm saying is, just there was a bit of technical difficulties there, so this might seem a little bit off. But you've gone through a lot in your life with your dad, and with then like that's enough. You know, that should be. Okay, I've gone through my troubles, but then you got cancer yourself, and you've got through it, and I'm delighted you
Yeah.
did, and you're very strong and still very positive. But I feel like you deserve a little bit of, you know, niceness and a bit of positivity. So we're gonna leave a link in the description, right? And Tina has a bucket list, and she didn't come on here to try and raise funds or anything, but I just think it'd be a nice thing to do, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna contribute
Yeah.
towards it.
And I suppose the thing is, I do want to share the things I do on the bucket list with everybody on my channel and that as well. You know, it's hopefully inspire people. I think, just say yes to things as well. Say yes more. And I think that's what I've learnt in the last year, just from I've started doing the bucket list. How much it's even just given me confidence. Like this time, like before the bucket list, you'd asked me to come down, and this it just would have been, you know, I really would have wanted to do it. Deep down, but I would have found some excuse.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
anxiety and that, I would have found some excuse to not do it or get out of it, you know, and that's the way I've been. But I think from doing these things, it's kind of like, oh shit, I can do this as well. Like, see, just the skydiving experience, you know, that was something else. And it's just like, yeah, right, what else can we do? And life, it's the whole life's for living, and I think I've realised I just want to experience as much as I can out of life. At the end of the day, we all have, you know, it's another thing, like life, we're all having our own personal journeys, you know, and really what we do makes that, and you know, it's my life experience, and I want to do the things I want to do, and I'm kind of that opinion. Like, I understand not everybody will want to do that, and that's fine, because they're all having their own life experiences. But for me, this is definitely the way I want to go. I want to not have that many regrets when I hopefully get older, and I want to be able to say I've done a lot with my life, and it's just about experiencing everything I can. That I've led a very sheltered life. I haven't really done much, growing up. We haven't had money really, like we never really went on holidays, things like that. So there's a lot that I've stupid, like just even going camping, there's things that I just really want to do and can say, right, well, I've done that before. So I think saying yes to more things is helping with that as well. And
You're such a fucking lovely person. Do you know that?
Well, I have my moments. I do have my moments.
Well, we all do, but you just have such a great outlook and a heart of gold. And you kind of know, like, when you first meet someone, if someone's like, even just talking to you from last year and getting involved with Gamer Store and stuff like that, and you're just a lovely fucking person.
Thank you.
You really are. Like, and it's a pleasure to be your mate.
I feel my face going red now. I
No,
don't
but
take
you
compliments
are,
too well. Like,
but you really are. You're
you.
just a bundle of fucking positivity. And as I said, this wasn't planned, and Tina didn't come here for a fundraiser. She came because she enjoyed the podcast, and I asked her, and she said she would, and I was delighted. But we're gonna leave a link in the description for a PayPal or GoFundMe. I'm not sure what it is, to support Tina's bucket list. And look, if you've never contributed to anything in your life and you're listening to this, just fucking do it. Usually I'm like, if you can, no, just do it. And let's give a bit of positivity to Tina. And what's on the bucket list that you want to do?
Well, what we've done in the last year, so what we've already done is we flew a plane.
Jesus Christ.
We have got out on a speedboat and got driving a speedboat for the day.
I want to join in on this.
Yeah,
I
I was
want to be on
actually
the
going
bucket
to
list.
say, I was going to actually ask you two, is there anything that you want to do, and maybe the three of us could go and do something like that together?
We have to.
as
We'll
well.
have to.
Like,
We'll have
Sounds
to.
brilliant.
yeah, wasn't it? I think that would be a great idea. We rode a motorbike, which has now turned into taking motorbike lessons, and I really want to get involved with vlogs. And
Will you
get
put me
my
on the back? I've
GoPro.
never been on the back of a morbike.
Yeah.
When you're.
Yeah, I have to pass the test first, but of course.
Oh
yeah,
shit, that's gonna be cool. Oh yes.
I'll go on the handlebars.
Hold on tight. So we've done that.
Little
we've done a
sidecar for Richie.
That would be brilliant.
We could make like the
Richie's
first
really
ever on a motorbike podcast,
Yeah.
which might not be very good to listen to though, because you're like,
No, in the wind, like, that would be great. Like, no.
We don't even need to, like, because I know them sidecarts, they're really expensive. We could just get one for the pets,
Yeah.
and I'll sit in one of them even.
right,
We'll work something out.
you just talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna go for a PP because I'm still very hungover. I can't. I'm loving this though. I don't know.
I'll go after
We're
something.
just gonna be like a 3-hour podcast. I'm not letting you.
Make sure it's only a pee you're going for in there. More than 3 shakes and it's a wank, lad, so.
Well, if it was a poo, I can't now because you'll go to the toilet after you. They told
Yeah.
me, so it's like,
Would you want me to go first? Like?
no, I'm just gonna go to the sink.
Oh,
So-
brilliant, yeah.
The bucket list. Have you any plans for like what you're doing next?
I need to get a proper look at it. There's a lot of places like travelling. I really want to do the dog sledding.
Nice.
So I've sort of been
Yeah.
looking at that recently again. Very expensive. There's a lot of these things in this list that's quite expensive. So it probably will take my whole life to do everything.
So work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. So
have you any plans on seeing the Aurora Borealis?
Oh, yes.
2 birds with the one stone.
Well, that's the plan. Yeah, there's a
skiing.
lot of the things that I could do.
Yeah.
Like even just spending a night under the stars and going camping, like
Yeah.
proper camping trip, toasting marshmallows. You know, it's
I do know there's a certain place, I think it's in Norway,
yeah,
that you can go, and they're like these domes,
right.
and you can spend the night under the stars because there's
Yeah, it's like open sky.
I think there's like 200 and something nights of the year where there's the Aurora Borealis.
Yes.
I think now that's going off guess, but you can hit all your marks there, so you can do the dog sleighing there. You can
So you get the northern
spend the night under the stars, and that's basically glamping. It's glamorous camping.
Yeah.
Are we
So-
talking about Iceland?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
did
I went-
Iceland or
Iceland
Norway.
or Norway. I think
Couple
there's a
of them
place
do
up there that you can see the Aurora Borealis, and she wants to spend the night under the stars and go camping and stuff like that, and dog sleighing as well.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So any other gems that you have on it, like, off the top of your head?
Well, let me see. Now I definitely need to get another proper look at it. But like I'm up for any ideas as well. I think we mentioned I can't remember who it was that night with it was the Legion's fortnight night, but wing walking. I found out about it.
Yeah,
and
what the hell?
Yeah,
I've heard you talk about
I
this.
added it onto the bucket list. It was actually a patient told me about it. I didn't even know it was a thing. So yeah, I mean, there's other things like I'd like to go like scuba diving, and there's lots of things that aren't going to cost money, like really the camping and the sleeping under the stars.
I have a friend that's a scuba instructor that I can probably get you in contact with for that.
I feel like we could get you to Iceland, like if we contact a few people when they hear your story. Like I feel like we could potentially make that happen if I put the work in, though, which I'm struggling to do the last few weeks. Ask Richie, but I feel like people power is a very big thing, and even 10 people listening to this now might be able to help with this. Could be. This could be surprising. Yeah, no, but I think we can. Maybe I'm hungover and a bit more optimistic than usual, but especially Richie as well. Like Richie fucking makes magic happen.
Yeah,
he really does. Like when he puts his mind to something, he fucking makes it happen. So
definitely not me eye, because that's straying off all the time.
Yeah. So if you touch Richie, I mean, like in a nice. No, I don't mean give him a hand job in a lane. I mean, if Richie makes magic happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if we can do a few things for you. And I don't know if you get that, Richie, where when someone has that outlook, it kind of excites you in a way of like making you think about what your own life and what you want to do. Because like I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, I want to go on her journey with her.
Yeah, I think that's my whole idea, and that's when I realised I started doing it, and that's why I was like, I really want to start sharing this with people, because I suppose only through my own lenses, that I've realised, and I suppose that's part of life as well. Like we're constantly growing as we age, and life experiences help us to grow. But I sort of thought, if this inspires somebody else to say yes more, or do something that they've been putting off, or it took me to, like, I literally think writing it down. That's where, once I wrote it down, I got the book and I was like, I'm just going to start writing it down, because at this stage last 13 years, and I was like, 13 years I've talked about going and flying a plane, and I was kind of like, no, I'm just going to write everything I want to do. And I was kind of like, I haven't really done that much, so it's literally everything.
I hope you need to make you need to document this on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, that's the plan. So I'm going to be getting my GoPro and every experience. So I have like more photos, because at the start I'd already sort of went and flew the plane, and I have photos and a couple of videos that, again, I'm not really very good at editing. I'd need to get into that.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
No.
Is that on your bucket list?
Yes.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
We're going.
Right, perfect.
Chat.
Yeah, Richie.
Podcast people. Don't mind the other stuff, right? She can fucking swim with sharks another time, alright? But if you contribute enough, we're going to Vegas.
I think there's a zip line you can do that you do.
Yeah, I went and I didn't do what I want to do it. But I'm too scared. But I feel like if I had you with me, you would talk to me about that shit.
I've done a few in Ireland.
Richie, we're going Vegas.
You want to get on the zip line? You found it hard enough here with Paul on the bleeding chair balancing.
That was because Paul's
what were you balancing on, Paul?
He put me on a bleeding ironing board. And told me to be comfortable. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm going to break me back live on stream.
I need context. What?
Richie.
This was, I remember that stream. No, I think I was watching that stream.
Yeah, I think you were. Paul was doing magic tricks.
Yes, that's what it was. And it was to get you, that's right, take the board out from under you, wasn't it?
The Vegas Fund is happening, Tina. This is actually going to happen. I'm excited.
Never mind the bucket list. Let's get the Vegas Fund going.
We only got Tina on to tell her troubles so that we could go to Vegas.
Let's go to Vegas.
Yeah, if there's three bucket lists ticked at once.
There you go. That's going to be great crack. And I know that some of the people listening to this, and this was never meant to be a thing where just my sporadic brain right now.
Jamie's wonderful idea.
Yeah. I know that there's people listening that will fucking get behind it straight away. Like, and that's what's special about doing this shit, isn't it? That there's like people like anytime I do anything, people help with it.
It does. It feels weird. Like even I'm just kind of like you're sitting there, and I was kind of like, oh no, no, Jamie, don't be asking.
Yeah,
for the
I
money.
used to be like that. I used to be like that. Now I'm just like, give me whatever you can. keep it in coming, lads. It's April now. I've nothing in the PayPal. What is going on? Sort of fucking out. This is not right. You know.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if I'm waiting on myself, as I say, like the things are like quite weird, and like I was talking about you can do volcano boarding, so you can go down on a slow plow.
Yeah, Richie, you can do that with
down
Tina.
the side of a live volcano, which I think
I'll go Vegas and gamble, but Richie can surf on lava. He can surf on lava. I'll let you do that. I'll film it from the top.
Without help of this, it's going to take a long time. Like, and the thing is, I'm constantly
don't bleed and fucking kill yourself doing this stuff. Like, set a limit here, will you?
I feel like
I want to ride on top of a shark.
I want to run on top of a tree.
In lava.
While being dragged
upside
around
down.
by dogs. Like, I feel like I'm being sacrificed here to the gods.
I want to be a human dartboard for the first time ever for the Guinness World Book of Records, and if you hit my pupil 3 times, it's 180. That's part of my bucket list.
I've literally just got something for the bucket list. There we go.
Yeah, no, don't do that, please.
No, not that, but like something. What about just get into the Guinness Book of Records for something? No,
fuck, I shouldn't have said that.
Oh my God,
Jesus Christ.
But
you can't. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
It'd be a feat.
What would you do?
Yeah, what would you do?
Richie, what would you do if you had...
I'd try that one where you eat the most crackers.
Yeah.
In a minute.
That's literally what I was thinking of. Or like the marshmallows. Yeah.
It sounds easy, but it's really difficult.
It's really difficult.
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
Or like eat a donut without licking your lips.
I know, that's easy.
No, it's not. People say that and you're like, yeah, it's easy. And then you eat a donut and you're like...
What would you do?
Oh, what would I do?
Lick your lips.
Try and last longer than 2 minutes in the bedroom with a lady.
It's never gonna happen, Jamie. You may wipe that one on. You may give yourself some more realistic expectations here. Like.
How do you know me so well? I've never had sex with Tina. Everybody, I don't know how she knows me so well. Jamie, it's never gonna happen. Look at you.
No, when you're running them 2 minutes, like clearly something's not working.
I feel like people kind of lie about how long they last in the bedroom.
Of course they do.
Like, you hear people, I was going all night. What do you mean? I can't even stay awake all night. Never mind, like...
Well, that's maybe somebody's had a wank in the bathroom first, like...
All night? What the fuck is that? But what? That song is a scam. Do you know that song, All Night Long?
Yeah.
It's the biggest travesty to ever happen to mankind.
He was just singing
All
about
night long,
the
bollocks.
TV being on all night long.
I'd get bored. Jesus Christ, I get bored after like 5 minutes of doing it. Like, it's nice, it's fun, but like all night long. Fucking 6 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, right, Jesus.
Your back's getting
We just
sore
watched the
here,
rest
like.
of the bleeding series
I
we
think
were
there's
watching.
something wrong with me.
Yeah, I'm just like, I start thinking about random objects and stuff. I'm like, all right, fucking enough of this now. It was great. Like, I like your body and I'm glad being with you, but like, fucking hell, what's this? You're just pumping for the sake of it at that stage.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. Sorry.
We're going to have to stop this at some stage. I think there's some friction born.
Sorry. I'm recently single, so I'm a little bit bitter, everybody. But you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Or am I mad?
Yeah, maybe a wee bit.
But you're never doing it though, and you're kind of like, fucking, yeah, I just
Hurry
want
up.
to yeah, like I just want to watch Netflix now. Like,
Just want to roll over.
This is
and go to
all
sleep,
chill
like.
and no Netflix. What's going on?
like it's great. Sex is great.
False
but, like,
advertisement.
No, I really just wanted to chill and watch Netflix.
Like, are you ever doing
Sorry.
it? Are you ever doing it? And you're like actually not even there. There's no. Richie,
No,
stop
it's
being so shy. Help me out here. Back me up. You're the co-host, for fuck's sake. Don't leave me here hanging, standing on a plank on my own.
That's what they call.
You built this up. I'm going to let it fall.
Oh, you're a wanker. Richie knows his wife has got a future listen to this, so he's saying nothing.
He's staying well out of it.
I'll
Oh
keep
my
these
God.
secrets.
I hate you. Tina, you're the new co-host. I'm sick of this shit. Fucking hell.
Oh dear, can I go to the toilet now?
She's not even gonna come back. She's like,
She
it's,
just hear the front door close.
it's gone to that
Sorry,
stage where it's like,
I'm done.
go on, go to the
What did
toilet.
I let myself in?
Me and Richie, I'm gonna slate Richie here for not backing me up on that. Go on, enjoy yourself. How dare you leave
How
me
dare
hanging
he?
there like
I'm
that
not one
in front of
to
the lady.
show and tell, you know.
No, you're right. I was just joking about the whole thing.
If I had to go, yeah, and it's like this, and Jamie would have been, I'm only
yeah.
messing.
Yeah, because that'd be too much, wouldn't it? You're right, actually. This is why we have Richie. Because if the two of us were like me, it'd be fucked. And by the way, I'm very hungover and possibly drunk because I had to have White Claws to like get me through the hangover. People will know that. I'm okay though.
One thing
I'm
about
alright.
us though, one thing about us that I've noticed, and I know you've noticed as well, is if I'm on a mad one, you reel it back in. And if you're on one, then I'm kind of doing the same. We're a good balance like that.
I
most
feel like
of the
you
time.
have to do a bit more reeling than me though. Like
Yeah.
you, like I'll go off. You not like I'll fucking go for the hour.
Go all night long.
Oh, not all night. What a fucking travesty, everybody. It's a fucking scam. Nobody ever had sex all night long. And if they did, they're fucking weirdos. So don't judge yourself for finishing in 3 minutes. But
Or even 2 or 1. It's okay.
Yeah, like
3 might seem a bit long.
do you ever like 2 pumps in your... no, anyway.
So, bucket lists, they're great.
We're going Vegas because of this podcast. That's so
I
amazing.
actually have something on my bucket list.
Yeah, you didn't answer me. What is it? What's your
sorry.
own thing?
So,
Tina, you tell me to shut up as well. Okay?
so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
shut up,
skydiving is one of the things I have on my bucket list.
Right, skydiving.
Yes.
Right, I am going to do. That is. I know I've already
no,
done
don't
it.
do it. Don't do it.
But I have a 12-month membership, and I am
God.
daftly for doing it again this
Nice.
summer. So,
Nice.
would you not do it, Julie?
no fucking way.
Honestly, oh my
No
days, I was on
way.
a high for a month after it. Like I was.
Even if Richie
I would
came
never
to
say-
me and said, I have 2 days to live and my dream is for you to skydive with me, Jamie, I'd be like, see you later, pal. Have a good one.
Nice knowing you. You say that, but honestly, I think
Why? Why?
if you like, oh man, it's just.
Why? I just don't
even
get
know.
it.
Yeah, it's exhilarating.
brilliant.
It is, yeah.
The thought of it is even brilliant.
Yeah. Well, see, no, I was very much like you though. The thought, like, I don't like heights. You know. I was
You don't
kinda
like heights, but you're jumping
No,
out planes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Used to talk.
Listen, and I don't even like that's. I never
Christ.
liked motorbikes either. I was always like, oh, motorbikes are so dangerous, and
Yeah.
I have my one experience, and I'm like, woo! I'm the next freaking.
No.
I'm not a fan of motorbikes now. I'm not that crazy.
Yeah.
But like
till you get on the back of
jumping
mine,
off
like.
things now. Like I've jumped off roofs and all before. As
What
we
about
talked
bungee
about.
jumping?
Bungee jumping, I've always wanted to do that
Really?
as well.
See, no, I wouldn't. No bungee. I couldn't
No?
bungee jump. No.
Oh, no. No, I don't want the rope on me that might save me.
Yeah.
Just
No.
jump without? No. Of course you're gonna want the rope on you.
No, but like you don't jump out of you don't skydive with a rope on you.
No, you don't. But for the first couple of skydives, if I'm not mistaken, you have
You're attached to
someone
somebody.
behind you who's already after having like I think it's like 5,000 or
Doesn't matter.
10,000
Doesn't
hours.
matter. The
Yeah.
parachute can still get stuck.
Yeah. That was my
But
first question. before
that's
I-
it. If,
Do you
like,
not?
If
Like,
the
you're not worried about that? Like,
the
where?
Oh
parachute-
yeah.
they have a
They don't have
reserve.
time though.
They have a
There's
reserve, but then
sometimes they feel too though.
just lean back and let them hit the ground first. You have a half a chance.
No, you don't. Your bones will merge into one. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh no, it was very
I don't understand that.
holy shit.
I feel like aliens, if they visited the Earth.
Where's this going now?
If they visited the Earth, right?
Uh,
And they looked at people
skydiving.
jumping out of flying objects for a thrill, they'd be like, here, let's just go back. These people are fucking dumb
Yeah.
as fuck.
That's without them even looking at half the bleeding TikTok dances.
Yeah,
out there.
oh, have they seen that? Jesus Christ, I want to eject myself from Earth when I look
We're
at
never
TikTok.
coming back here again.
Oh, God. They're recording themselves doing stupid shit.
And they're getting paid for it.
People pay to watch this.
And the cringiest people get sponsorship deals. and they're also jumping out of really fast moving objects with a fucking bit of plastic above them. The person like that they're telling that to the alien, like the alien boss, when they come back to like when they come back to like report, will be just like, yeah, I think you should just leave them.
Leave them to it.
So
Very,
dumb.
very primitive
Yeah.
beings.
You were always like that though, Richie, weren't you? Like
Primitive. Thanks, Jamie.
No, I didn't mean that. I didn't.
Me, Richie.
Richie's always primitive.
Fire, yes. Ooh. No, but you were a bit like Tina. After going through what you went through, Tina, you kind of always had that like buzz thing as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
From what you tell me, like that
I
you
love
love that rush, do you?
Yeah, I love the whole adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Jeez,
thing.
don't ever
Well,
start
this is
gambling.
new to me because I would have always said I don't like that,
Yeah.
and that's probably why it took me 13 years to start
Yeah, like
doing risky stuff.
I see when I was a kid, I was just hospital bound, like always hospital bound. Like
Yeah.
even there was one stage. Who's doing? I know I can't. It'll be obvious now. I'll just tell the story.
No,
Who's
I'll
doing
say,
the
well-
proper or pony this week? Who's doing the proper or pony? I think it's you.
Yeah,
is.
pal. I don't even know
Yeah,
who
it
I
was
am
your-
at the
it
moment.
was your-
It is.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Sure.
It's George's
Okay,
turn.
I'll come up with something.
But,
Actually, I'll come up with something from last night, and we'll see. Anyway,
Nice.
Sorry, go ahead.
Nice. So, yeah, when I was younger, I had went to hospital and I had hurt me legs, or hurt me ankles, and like after I've always wanted rollerblades, and my brother got me rollerblades. After I hurt my legs going to hospital, he
Did
got
you
me
ever get-
rollerblades.
did you get
No,
using
but
them?
I used oh stop.
I
was
love the rollerblades
recovering.
too. Like,
I can remember they were the FX1s. Everyone went mad about them. They were like a bumblebee. That's what they looked like. They were black
I
and
wasn't
yellow.
that much into my rollerblades, but I know I had a pair and I loved them. Like,
Uh,
I wanted to go play for the Belfast Giants. I wanted to
So-
take up ice hockey.
There was like
That's cool.
there was always like 30 or 40 kids. I grew up
Yeah.
in the flat complex, so there was loads of kids, and there'd be like 30 of us going out on their rollerblades, and we have Christchurch. Do you know Christchurch? It's up on a hill, and it was like literally on the out of hospital, literally like, and we ended up going into town, and I went down Christchurch Hill on the rollerblades. But there's no fucking brakes on them, was there? You had to drag your leg behind you to stop. And I ended up over the bonnet of a car. Like now the car was
no.
stopped at the traffic lights, but I couldn't stop, and I just went up
It
onto the.
reminds me of a story once, and I was at my cousin's house, and it was the field beside their house, but it was like on a slope, and the farmer had obviously cut the grass, and it was just in rows of going down the whole field. So this was a game task, running and jumping over each thing.
Yeah.
And I was a very fast runner as a child, so I was shun speed doing these jumps. I got to the bottom and couldn't stop myself. I went straight through the hedge and a big nettle push out onto the road and tumbling. And I took up a really bad allergic reaction to nettles after.
Oh no!
I just
God,
covered.
Jesus Christ! Is anything ever good happen
I
to you?
tell you,
Oh,
no.
you've had such a Jesus
Such a life,
Christ.
Jamie.
I can't wait to
It
read your
doesn't
book.
end there either.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, but they're funny
I love
stories.
Yeah, so I'm all about adrenaline rushes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you
from an
really
early
are.
age.
Yeah.
From an early age, like always, like up to something, up to mischief, that you get the adrenaline buzz.
That's a
But,
real. I don't, look, it's a worldwide thing, but it's a real fucking North Dublin thing, isn't it? They love it. They love just fucking. Stuff happening, getting chased. Do you remember, like,
I'm
you
from the south of
tried
Dublin,
to
though.
get chased as a kid? Well, whatever.
I hated that,
Ruin the whole
yeah,
big
yeah.
conversation, why don't you?
Knocked
It's
over
just a
run.
podcast. Don't back me up as the co-host here. Just like pick up my flies. But but do you remember, like, trying to get chased as a kid?
Oh yeah.
Like, and it was such. Why did we do that? Like, when you
Knocked over
think,
run and
what were we doing? Why?
Yeah.
We just loved that kind of fear, didn't we? Like
Yeah.
when someone's about to hit you with a hammer,
Yeah.
but
I
you're like,
used to love that
you're
feeling.
escaping it
No,
on a
I was a
bike.
very good child actually. I mean,
Were you?
there was a lot of that went on. I mean, yeah, we did, but like, I was never the one to throw the stone at the window. Like, it was. I was just running away, you know.
You were just kind of
Following the wee
with those
sheep, like,
people doing
yeah,
it.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
Guilty by
don't do that to the
association.
old man. Yeah.
I can remember there was this one time we were finished in school, and I'll get to the point that I'm going to make just in a couple of minutes, right? But it stopped me from going on a trip at the school, and I was devastated, right? So nearly all the time, I'd be the one that'd be like, let's do this.
I'd say you were the instigator.
Yeah, right?
You were the one putting the
For
brick
sure.
through
But
the
I'd be
window.
the instigator and the doer. Right?
I feel like you would have been easy to persuade as
Yeah.
well. Like someone like me would have said, "Do you know what, Richie, be gas.
Yeah,
just
let's
put
do
a
it."
brick through that window."
I'd be
And you'd be
already
like,
like
yeah, Jamie, that'd be funny, wouldn't it?
With the brick already, like,
I just happen to have one.
this is one I've made earlier. But I can remember we got off school one of the days, and it was one of the only times I get into trouble, and it wasn't me, right? So we got off school, and one of them threw a brick, and I didn't know about it. Usually I'd be the one that would be, yeah, do it, let's do it. But no, not
can
this day.
imagine, yeah.
And I was walking home. I think I was talking to someone at the time, and the lads went baiting boy, and the uncle that was talking to just went baiting boy. Then and I was like, wait, what's going on? And then I just got a hand across the shoulder saying, "Come here, you."
Oh no.
Yeah, what's your name? And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
"Oh, my name is Richie." Right, your man grabbed me, and I was like, "My name is Richie." And then he went to the school. He seen the crest and all. He went to the school, and
Oh
he's like,
no.
"I caught Richie."
Oh no.
And it was Richie that threw it, and it was usually always me that got into trouble anyway. So, yeah, I got stopped from going on a trip for that, and it wasn't even me that time.
What was the trip for? Where was the trip to?
I can't even remember. But it was down to a house somewhere in the country,
Yeah.
and it was like, yeah, they
Doesn't sound
went.
like you missed much.
No,
anyway.
but like I missed the inclusion.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
And it was devastating
And
for
then
me.
they're all talking about for like 3 days in the class of like how
Yeah.
good it was.
Yeah, like we went to the shop at 7 o'clock
Yeah,
at night, and all,
yeah.
and it was dark.
And there was
yeah.
girls there with their ditties out, and there was
Well, like-
rainbows everywhere, and like literally people gave us free money.
I think we were like 9, so like.
Sorry, that's just kind of
The
my.
ditties weren't
sorry,
even
I'm
on
just,
the thought
yeah,
process.
that's my dream process there. Sorry, I'm very hungover.
You need to leave Sally at home there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Ditties and rainbows, everyone.
I was
Ditties
definitely
that should be the
devastated.
name of this podcast,
Ditties
or
and
of
rainbows.
this episode. Ditties and rainbows.
Ditties and rainbows. Could be.
What a mixture. Do you know, like if you've seen a pair of ditties and in the background there's a rainbow, that's like the perfect image, isn't it, in life? Like a pair of ditties and a rainbow.
I think Jamie is definitely still drunk, or
Definitely.
these white
I
claws
am,
are.
I am, so don't take
bringing
anything
them
I say
back around.
seriously. Richie's like, I know he's going to text me tomorrow and say, cut out the ditties and rainbows part. No, actually, I'm leaving that in. No, but sorry. Yeah, anyway.
So bucket lists.
Sorry.
Back to bucket lists. Has anyone that's listening, and that is or that's watching, have you hit any of those bucket lists, or do you have any that you're just about to do? Let us know.
Yes,
Yeah.
please do. Please
I'm
do.
always up for ideas as well. Like, you know, what I can do is I say, only found out about the wing walk and didn't even know it was a thing. So there's probably lots of stuff out there.
I feel like I should stop you from doing some of this shit.
No, we still haven't heard. What's
Don't
one
go
thing
on.
on your bucket list?
Oh,
then?
sorry. Okay. Well, I want to. Probably my main thing right now is like I'm actually fascinated with Vegas. I went once,
Yeah.
and it was the best time of my life. The shows are unreal. The strip is just. It's almost like I feel like maybe this is just me, but like it's like Vegas is like a dream, like a good dream.
Yeah.
It's just. It's my play. It's so good. It's like a strip of entertainment and gambling and drinking and having fun, and it's just
All your
the-
favourite things.
yes, it's the best time ever. And I feel like anybody who goes through their whole life and doesn't go there, I almost feel bad for them. Like, you need to kind of fucking do this and have fun. Honestly, it's so cool. You'll find out when we go, when everybody contributes in the link in the description.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my next. I want to go again this year, and we're gonna go with you, and we're gonna make it the best YouTube video ever, and hopefully Richie's missus lets him come as well. But we'll see. How are you?
Bring her
It's not the missus. It's the job.
Oh yeah, it's always the job, isn't it? No, but you can bring your missus as well,
Priorities,
though.
Richie.
You could bring your missus, and we'll have some fun. Yeah. So, like, we need to do a part 2 of this because your story deserves a part 2 of this, I think, Richie. Do you? Like,
Yeah,
where we can
definitely.
get a little bit more in depth with
Yeah,
things and stuff.
yeah.
So, we're definitely going to do a part 2 of this. And if you have any questions for Tina, please do leave them in the comments, and I swear we'll ask them in part 2. No matter what your question is, even if it's really weird, because I
Yeah.
know you've been asked some weird questions, Tina, which we can't talk about.
I was I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, any questions at all?
Yeah. We'll try and answer and be as honest. Yeah.
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 Richie, and else you'd like to kind of ask Tina, and we'll do proper pony then after.
No, so I think we have some things from last week
Oh.
and from this week that people have texted in.
Oh.
So will we delve into
Yeah.
this a little bit? Right. So right. I have a vague one here that someone texted in. They I'm about right now. This is for Jamie. I'm about to get an amputation on my leg in 2 months.
Did someone actually do that? Okay.
Yeah. And Jamie, any advice? So there's an amputation.
In 2 months. It's a difficult one for me to give legitimate advice about because I was born missing my limb, so I don't know what it's like to lose a part of your body, and I feel like a lot of people think that I do.
Yeah.
The advice, Jesus, just chill, just go with it, take it day by day. Don't think about too much until it's happening, and then when it does happen, take it day by day again. And I'm sure Tina probably would have some good advice as well. I feel like a lot of us spend our time worrying about what could happen or what's gonna happen or how we're gonna be suffering, whereas if you kind of live in the moment and live in the day and just take it day by day, then it becomes a lot easier than kind of thinking, oh my God, I'm going to lose my leg, and how am I going to deal with this, and how am I going to deal with this? Because as humans, we just deal with whatever happens anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's
quite resilient. Like human beings. Yeah.
My advice would be just take it day by day, and don't worry about people telling you about phantom pain and about this and all the things that are going. Don't even listen to them.
Yeah.
Deal with it as it comes. Obviously you have to prepare for certain things, but just day by day, isn't it? That's for anything. Tina, what would you say about that as somebody who's gone through?
I'm just trying to think. I think it's gonna be we all go through certain transitions in our life, but I mean, again, I don't know what that's like to lose a limb or that, but I mean, I definitely think that it's like a new vessel nearly, I suppose, that you're now going to be continuing your life in, and it's just that transition period probably will be difficult, but you just gotta take it day by day and stay positive.
And you'll surprise yourself with how well you'll cope with it. Trust me.
We are very adaptive people.
Oh,
like
God,
humans, we're very adaptable, like to survive and to go on doing what we're doing.
Yeah, very resilient.
Richie, what would you say though? Have you
like I can understand like they're getting the amputation. We don't know the ins and outs of why or what, but like my thoughts about it would be like just continue to think of it in a like as positive as possible. Like you're obviously
you're gonna weigh less.
This has
you're
to
gonna
happen.
Weigh less.
Yeah, you're gonna
You
weigh
know?
less. But
Sorry.
No, you're grand. But because this is
You're gonna be Slimmer of the Month in Slimming World.
Oh,
sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry. I'm allowed to make the joke though. So
You are.
I have to pass.
So
sorry, Richie. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. Like, just as Jamie was saying, take it day by day. But it's gonna be a weird transition. It's gonna be not a nice thing because it's not what you're used to. I don't know your situation or anything, but just try be optimistic about everything and how you deal like with like being able to walk. Like you will be able to walk, so like that's a huge positive about it. Like you'll still be able to walk, you'll be able to maneuver about and to get wherever you need to get done. So just try think of the positives and not the negatives of it.
That's so right. And also, it'll give you character.
Yeah.
You can get a cool leg, you can design it, which is pretty cool. I like that, you know, and you'll be different, and you'll have something, you'll go through something that not many people ever do in their whole life, which is pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
In a way,
Yeah,
like,
it's
you know,
topic of
I know that's
discussion as
weird,
well,
but like
but
it's kind of pretty cool. Like I wouldn't change having a prosthetic because I like it. I feel like it's cool. I'm definitely
Who
a different.
you are as
Yeah,
well,
I'm
you know,
definitely a
part of
different
you.
person. I'd probably be a dickhead if I didn't have the. I am a dickhead, but I'd be a bigger dickhead.
I was gonna say that would change that, Jamie.
We have another one here, and like,
So, is it for me again?
no, so when I was writing this down, they gave the name,
Don't read it out though.
but I'm not gonna
No.
like, because of like it can be like it can lead back.
Okay.
So I met a person. I'm gonna say, no, I can say.
This is actually 100% legit though, Richie.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I
Okay.
met a woman online and met up with them twice. She said that she has a disability but doesn't like to talk about it. She hasn't told me what it is, and I feel awkward asking now. Any advice?
As a disabled person here, that's not cool to do that. You shouldn't. That's like saying like, you have to be honest if you're disabled. That's what the fuck kind of mind games is that? I would say, I'm gonna be blunt here. I'd say, if you really like the person, is that stopped again? No, it's gone.
No.
If you really like the person, well then say, listen, you need to be fucking honest with me here, or we can't do this. And if he or she doesn't be honest with you about who they are and what's wrong with them, well then move on. That's weird. That's like saying
I think
that's why I didn't want to.
What do you think about
know,
that?
disabled or not, I think if you're meeting somebody, you want to just be truthful. You know, it's there's no point pretending to be something for somebody to like you because they're not liking you. You know, they're liking this imagination that you've made up. And I can understand, yes, when you're sort of going out dating, it's kind of like, I think you were talking about it. Not the last podcast, but the one before. It's kind of, when do you bring things like that up? But yeah, I think you have to be truthful. Disabled or not,
it's a weird situation anyway, and that's why I didn't want to call out like to say
maybe
the name.
she's embarrassed, or he's embarrassed. Is it a lady? Maybe he's embarrassed about it, but that's I've never heard that before, that somebody would do that. Like, maybe they're embarrassed, so that's why I'm saying give them a chance.
Yeah, they've maybe had times in the past, maybe, that when they have brought that up, or they have told somebody that's kind of been like,
also call people. I feel like a lot of messages happen now, and people message for it. Pick up the phone. You can talk to somebody.
Exactly.
Call them and talk to them and say, listen, that kind of freaked me out a bit that you wouldn't tell me, and explain why you feel that it's weird, and communicate. Yeah, like, people feel like that it's weird to ring people. It's not, and nobody ever like thinks when you ring them, this is weird. It's only you that think that. So maybe call them, talk to them about their day, and say, this is usually a piss take, but we're actually giving legitimate advice this time. Call them, talk. Don't necessarily bring it up straight away when you ring the phone, but say, how was your day, and have a bit of a chat for like 10 minutes, and then maybe say, listen to something I want to talk to you about, and I feel like maybe you have, like, I'm wondering why you won't tell me, or whatever, and then I'm sure the person would probably tell you then, wouldn't they?
And I'd like to think so.
If they didn't, well then just say, here, see you later.
Yeah, like I'd say maybe continue on and see how, like you said twice now, you met her, so just take it as it comes, and if it continues to be weird for you, then it's probably not meant for you. I would say it depends as well. Like, it's such a like, I'd like to know more about this.
Yeah, me too, actually.
It just see how it goes. They're probably embarrassed about a certain thing about it, because you don't know and we don't know what it is. So we're not looking to see what it is, by the way. I want to know more details about, like, the whole situation. But just continue on, and if things are good, then, like, and obviously they told you about that they had a disability. I don't know if it's a visible one. Probably not, if they told you and you don't know what it is. But just keep on dating if you like them. If not, like personally, like if you keep feeling weirded out, just you're not committed to anything yet if it's dates.
But
So-
having it, like, you shouldn't treat having a disability as like Batman.
No.
Like,
It's like
do
I'm
you know
not
what I
gonna
mean?
tell you
It's
I
fucking
have one,
weird.
but have a guess, like type of thing.
Yeah, you don't have to like put it on
Yeah.
show, but like don't. I don't know. I think you'll accept yourself better if you learn how to tell people about your disability.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree
Be
with
happier.
that. Like, you have to be truthful, because at the same time, you know, that person's not going to like you for you either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why they're
No, and
messaging
that's
a
ideally
podcast
what-
about it for advice.
That's
you know?
why you want, you know, you want to be with somebody, you want for them, ideally. That's the way I look
Yeah.
at it, like, you know.
Yeah. So
So yeah, if you've any, and we love these questions, and thanks for sending it in. If you've any questions, and normally we take the piss with it
Yeah.
a little
Not-
bit, but sometimes we get real, don't we? So
Yeah.
any questions, put them in, and it does help us with the podcast because it helps us to talk about stuff and stuff like that. Proper or pony, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Yes.
Okay. I was hosting a single night last night, and a lady came up to me, and I swear to God, right, my lord, she was about 7 foot. I thought I was looking at the spire. I was like, am I on O'Connell's? She was really tall, right? And she told me,
what did she tell you?
she told me that she likes little willies. And I don't know why. Like, as if she looked at me and thought, you know, you look like a chap with a tiny penis. Like, I'm average. It's not big. It's not you. It's all right. Like, but, and I said, why are you telling me this? And she said that, because normally girls, like, there's like this thing where they like big cocks. And she said, I just like an average cock because it doesn't hurt as much. Like a small penis. And I was like, okay. Right? And then she proceeded to ask if I have a small penis. Is that proper or pony? That's my story. You might be surprised by the results, but comment below and let us know if you think that's absolute proper or absolute pony.
Pony. So
I'll tell you like straight away when we end.
So I'm gonna let you know about my story last
Yeah.
week.
Oh.
So
Oh, yeah,
remember,
sorry, yeah,
I
yeah.
got the slap from the guy that said, "Give me should be a coke."
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So that was proper.
What's it?
That was proper. That
was like,
actually happened to me.
I was like, there's so much detail in that one. I was like, it
Yeah,
could be, but then I was like,
yeah.
that's where he's just
Now, if
getting
I'm
it. I was
telling the
like,
truth, I
no.
have to tell a little bit less details.
What do you think about my story? Is it proper or pony?
Pony.
I think a tall girl did approach you, but I don't think that was the general gist of it. I would
Okay.
say that. I'd say there's some pony in there. Pony.
Let's see what they think. Right, do you want to wrap up? Because
Yeah. So it's been great. It has been the 5th episode, and yeah, we look forward to part 2 of this
yes,
this episode,
definitely.
Yeah,
which
get to
will
come
happen
back.
Yes.
in the near future, because I think we can get into much more details.
And we need to as
of
well.
stuff.
We need to as well.
And yeah, thank you very, very much,
No,
Tiny
thank
Tina.
you.
Tina, where can people? I know there'll be links here, but what do you do? Tell really
Yeah,
fast.
Okay, yeah. So I stream on YouTube, Tiny Tina. Very much a variety of things, but as I say, we're hoping to make that more bucket list, kind of uploading videos and live streaming with Jamie on the back of the motorbike. You know, so yeah, we're hoping to take it in that direction and as I say, share the experience with everybody and hopefully inspire people to do their own bucket lists and live.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you will find all the links below. If you liked this episode and definitely look forward to seeing part 2, let us
wait for
know.
part 2.
I can't wait.
I'll be
definitely.
sober for part 2 as well, everybody.
Please do.
But yeah, tune in next week, and we will have another guest on.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
this is great. 2 weeks
Can
in
I
a
just
row.
come every
2 weeks
week?
in a row.
If you want. Do you want
I'll just be the third co-host.
I don't know, what would we call it, though? The one leg, one eye, one Tina podcast?
Yeah. One girl.
Yeah,
One
maybe.
female.
Why not? Well, I'll have a business meeting with Richie. Richie's like, no, this is I'm the co-host. Don't you dare,
But
Tina.
I'll be worse than Richie. It'll be like, right, guys, I've only got half an hour this month.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I can come
Jesus
down.
Christ. I have 15 minutes in July, Jamie, if you wanna book that in.
But
So-
book me in.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Thank you very much. Peace out.
Yes, and we will do a part 2, 100%, because we need to, and there's so much more of Tina that we need to hear about, like 100%, and we will do part 2. But please do, we have a link in the description. Let's support Tina's bucket list, and that's something that I'm going to bring up over the next couple of episodes as well. And let's see, can we make some magic happen?
Yeah.
Yep. Right, get out of gaff now.
I have to wait till my lift comes.